Aloha! Welcome to the Bishop Museum's Library and Archives. I'm Hadley Andersen.
I'm DeSoto Brown.
And it's Throwback Thursday.
It's Throwback Thursday.
So DeSoto, what are we going to talk about?
Well, we are doing this presentation right now, just a few days before Kamehameha Day.
Okay.
So, we're going to talk about Kamehameha Day.
Great. I would love to know a little bit more about Kamehameha Day and how it came about.
Well, here's our first picture for you to see. It's a newspaper clipping. And this is a copy of a newspaper article that was published in one of the Honolulu newspapers in 1895, the day after Kamehameha Day, to celebrate, to show what people had done. Now, in the center, you can see is a picture of the statue of King Kamehameha, and obviously that's where a lot of the focus is for the activities of Kamehameha Day. But you'll notice that the statue does not have any lei on it, and that's one of the things that we do today, which I will talk about in a second. And there's also, in this newspaper article, no mention of any parade.
Oh.
That's because in 1895, there was no Kamehameha Day parade. So
that's very sad.
Let me back up a little bit. Not that sad. We took care of that. King Kamehameha I was very significant in Hawaiian history because he is the one who united all the islands under one ruler, and he's the one who really turned Hawaii into what became a nation, a country, because it had one ruler. So that's why he is important. And the statue that I just mentioned, which is in the center of downtown Honolulu, was commissioned by King Kalakaua in the 1880s, and it was cast in France, and then it was on a ship being brought to the Hawaiian Islands, and the ship sank. So, fortunately it was insured, and they got another one.
Oh, I didn't know if they were going to fish it out or if there's...
Well, but wait, there's more.
Oh, gosh.
But wait, there's more. So the new one was brought, it was installed in downtown Honolulu, where it is today. And then somebody salvaged the sunken one from the Falkland Islands, which are in the Atlantic Ocean.
Wow.
Then that one got brought here, and that one is set up in Kamehameha's birthplace, which is in Hawaii on Hawaii Island.
That's
so we've got
fantastic.
two statues. Okay, now, I said that back in 1895, when I showed you that article, there wasn't any Kamehameha Day parade because it hadn't been invented yet.
Parades had not been invented yet?
No, the Kamehameha Day hadn't been hadn't been invented yet. And the way that came about was because starting in 1906, there was something called the Floral Parade. And that was just kind of a tourist thing. And they staged that on Washington's birthday to show how patriotic everybody was here and how American everybody was. So after that had been going on for a few years and was extremely popular, a group of civic-minded Hawaiian people got together and said, well, let's do that for Kamehameha Day and let's have another parade. So this is an invitation for one of the events held for that first Kamehameha Day celebration, organized celebration, which was on June 11th, 1914. And this is an enlarged copy of an invitation to a nighttime ball to celebrate the day.
So not only a parade, but a ball?
Absolutely, they did a bunch of stuff. Here are some of the important people who watched that first Kamehameha Day parade in 1914. And this lady right here is Queen Liliuokalani. And so she was alive to see the first Kamehameha Day parade. That was, she died in 1917, so she was very elderly, as you can see. Right here is Prince Jonah Kuhio Kalanianaole, for which Kalanianaole Highway is named, and Kuhio Beach at Waikiki is also named. And then this lady right here is his wife, Elizabeth Kahanu. And then standing right back here, this man with the glasses on, is Queen Liliuokalani's son, who was called John Aimoku Dominus, and he has kind of a interesting past, which I mean an interesting provenance, but I won't get into that.
Okay.
He wasn't really her son, but he was her adopted son. So, important people watched that, and once that parade got going and once that event got going, it continued, and it's still going on today. And I'm happy to say that I rode in a convertible in the parade last year, or the year before, the year before
I think
that.
it was the year before.
Because BishopMuseum was honored in that Kamehameha Day parade, so that was kind of cool. We got to participate in that.
Yep, I was walking around behind it in a frog costume.
Okay, in a frog costume, when
Yep.
I was sitting comfortably in a convertible. But in any case, this is yet another invitation for one of the Kamehameha Day celebrations, but it's a few years later. This is from 1916. And it's, what is this, a dance or something? Yeah, this is another concert and dance And this happened at the National Guard Armory, which was located, a building that was located on the site of what is now today's state capitol building. So, one of the major things that happens for Kamehameha Day is that the statue of Kamehameha, which I just discussed, is decorated and it's draped with lei. And this picture is from 1938, and as you can see, there's not a lot on his statue. He just has a few lei on him. Well, as time passed, that became a really big deal, and lots of flowers were put on him. And in fact, right at this very moment, some of our coworkers are making a very large lei out of kukui nut tree leaves to be draped on the statue as an offering from BishopMuseum. And here's the statue on Kamehameha Day in 1954, and as you can see by then, he's very covered up with flowers. These are plumeria leis, and that's not really a very traditional plant because it doesn't come from the Hawaiian Islands, but it does make a pretty lei. And today we don't do the draping in the same way because people gradually came to the conclusion that, wait a minute, he is wearing a feather cloak. The statue is dressed in a feather cloak, not a real one, of course, as part of the statue. And it would be not a good idea to drape a lei over such an important object as feather work because that was only worn by alii. So today he just gets lei on his arms and not draped over the cloak that he's wearing.
Brilliant.
So it doesn't look like this anymore. So one of the features of the Kamehameha Day Parade are the pa'u riders. And those are women who are dressed in very long flowing costumes that ride on horses. And this is a tradition that began in the Hawaiian Islands in about the middle 1800s. But it wasn't something that you did for a special event. It was just some women like to dress up and ride around and show off all their finery. So this kind of went out of style, certainly by the turn of the 20th century, and it was revived first for the parade that I mentioned earlier, the Mid-Pacific Carnival Floral Parade, and then for the first Kamehameha Day Parade, it became a very important part of it. And today, this photograph was taken in 1963 on Kapiolani Boulevard in Honolulu. You see the horse doesn't have any decorations on it today. Not only the riders, but the horses are covered with really elaborate lei.
I remember that from the year that we were in the parade.
Yeah. So it's a very big deal to get ready for this, get the costume, make the lei, and so on and so on. Finally, another important part of the parade, which today we don't have as many of, but in the past there used to be lots of floats. So the Kamehameha Day Parade was loaded with all kinds of people on decorated trucks, and as you can see in this photograph, which was taken again on Kapiolani Boulevard in 1952, that's just a big truck, and it's the bed of a flatbed truck, and it's decorated so that you don't see that it's a truck, but it's got musicians and hula dancers and a choral group sitting in a sort of bleachers on the back. The creation of a float is a very elaborate and very long-term thing to get to do, so
absolutely.
Not as many people do that today, but we still do have Kamehameha Day Parade, and we still commemorate King Kamehameha via a parade for his day.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Learned a little bit of history today.
I hope you did.
Every Throwback Thursday.
Every Throwback Thursday, and I hope everybody who was watching learned a lot of history as well. And so, again, we're coming to you from BishopMuseum, BishopMuseum Archives, in fact. And right here is the BishopMuseum website address. And we want to tell you to come visit us, at least electronically, if not in person, because
we've always got new things coming up and going on, so double check our website to see what's going on today or coming up this weekend.
Absolutely, or whenever. And in addition to the special events, there are always our exhibits, our permanent exhibits, our changing exhibits. It's always lots of fun and exciting and interesting and educational and just wonderful things to do at Bishop Museum. So come see us. And if you don't come see us in person, at least come back next Thursday and see us for Throwback Thursday again. And until then,
oh no.